Yeah, so today we'll go over level ranges. And before we get into that, we'll just do a little follow up here of everything that we looked at from a few days ago. And yeah, I just want to recap kind of, what had happened here a little bit. So I'm not going to go too far back and go over this whole thing, but we have an hourly, gives us this hourly, pretty straightforward. That hourly gives us our breaking point, which, in the last lesson, we looked at the trails of the 15 minutes and kind of talked about how comical it was, how easy this thing was to read. So I just want to follow up the rest of this trade at the end of it all and just kind of see where we could find that breaking point with this trade. So you had exactly that 15-minute holding on the bottom against the hourly. So if we just go back to our theories that we've been learning recently, which is the time frames and how they have this trail that they're following, and as long as you can pinpoint that trail, you're going to see everything absolutely perfectly. And so that's where we left off on Wednesday, and we had this 15 minute, then we had this reverse 15-minute that was there, that was constantly being hit, and that had never been broken, and it had already activated as a reverse. So like if you wanted to take both sides of this thing and just say, like, you've got your reverse level here, which is being hit, and then you have your oopsies, then you have a reverse level here that's being hit. Um, Take that replayer tool and just kind of rewind it. So you're in a scenario where your Pandora's boxing. Like, let's mix in every theory that we have here. Your Pandora's boxing, or not every theory, but every applicable theory. Your Pandora's boxing 15-minute reverse levels, and that's quite straightforward when you see it. You've got, just delete these. Oops, not that one. We wanted this and delete it. You've got the 15-minute reverse being hit here. You've got the 15-minute reverse being hit here. You've got hourlies holding it up, and this is where we left off, saying that now the 15-minute has to break. And it's truly a Pandora's box between hourly levels and 15-minute levels, like Pandora's boxes inside of Pandora's boxes. Your perfect mirror. So then you do have a 15-minute level here. So like at this point, to see this breakout was, I don't want to say too straightforward, but it's pretty straightforward if you were following this logic flow. You have the 15-minute level here, you have the reverse, and you have the 15-minute level here. So you're really just stuck between two 15-minute levels at this point. We'll make sure we mark this one properly. And you're really just stuck between two 15-minute levels. If one of these holds the move down, it's kind of game over, right? And there's that 15-minute level, and it gets hit perfectly. Just everything we've been looking at. And the 15-minute level breaks. So that's kind of gone, right? And then I'm just going to move it to the candle that it's at. I'm just going to assume it's this one here. And then you have 15-minute level to 15-minute level. And you can literally see when these wicks happen, where it's like big top, big bottom. Now you know why. Because you've got like a Pandora's box inside a Pandora's box, breaking a range, cycling through, hourly levels attacking each other. Inside of the hourly range, you have the 15-minute levels attacking each other, 15 minutes holding against 15 minutes. So I think oftentimes in the markets, we see something like this happen. And it's never really a surprise when you break it down why it happened. And you can see it here. You've got like which side is going to win, and entering either side as a long or a short here would have been appropriate in either regard. This hits and holds. I don't even know where you would get re-entry on this, but yeah, I think we see this a lot on 4-hour candles. I think we see this a lot on crazy daily candles in Bitcoin. We've seen this exact same scenario like many times in crypto. This one is just limited to the time frame, right? Like when you have some big nasty move up and down, and then you go to your 1-minute charts, and you can see, where does it happen? It happens right here. Like you try to break this move, the move rejects, it goes down, it holds fast. Like it's just, you can see the polarity being farmed in the moment. And one of these two sides have to break. So you can even just delete this. One of these two sides has to break. If you get above this, I don't know if there would be re-entry past that. I think you get above and maybe you'd be lucky to even get re-entry here. But I think that's a pretty clear indication that this thing is moving up. You even have, this 15-minute holding here. There it is right there. You have this 15-minute holding right here. You're laddering up against the reverse. Like there should be entry taken on this trade at this point. I don't see why anybody would not take entry here. And then even if you do get lucky enough to back test this, it's an automatic trade. Like and there's not a lot of room for, or and maybe this was it. Maybe just this what this reverse level could be. But you can see clearly how it breaks up if you follow the logic flow, and then the move is just said and done, and it's over, and it just it starts flying, right? It starts flying to go to its next range. Just as we said, this will protect all of this upper registry. So when you break this, you're going to go up here, and when you break this one, you're going to go up even further. So it's just really nice to see how perfect this thing has, executed this trade off that 15-minute, and it was quite straightforward, and it's 10%, and it's a huge trade. And even some of the people were messaging me saying, wow, crazy what we went over, and I'm in from 45,000. And there's some levels down in here that were pulled back the trade, some stuff from back here. But ultimately, when this trend breaks, you just gap to the top of the range, because that was the whole point that's the whole point of a range trend, is that it just protects the range. And once that breaks, you just simply go attack the range. Like there's not much else to that story. I mean, range trends exist to protect ranges. Range trend breaks, it goes after the range, right? It goes after the top of the range, or the bottom of the range. In this case, the top of this range, or the bottom being down here, the bottom of this range. And I'm sure if you broke this daily, you would have went down into that area, or you break this and you move up. So it's just nice to see it play out perfectly, usually as always. And it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens next with this on a larger scale. And what we're going to talk about right now is level ranges, right? And that's going to be very familiar to what range trends do, because level ranges, there's always something as you skeleton down into these trades, and as you pick through the bones of all the smaller time frames, you've got your 15-minute levels here. Like we saw these reverse levels acting against each other. Like if you were to even, and this is what we're going to do, we're going to go and let's use this. We're going to go here, and you can see that there's a range created right here between levels. So you can see, we'll change the color of this one to green, I think. Yeah, we'll do green, and to turn it up a little bit. So even right now, you can see where these levels are protecting the ranges as well. So like you are going to have trends that protect ranges, and you're going to have levels that protect ranges. And this is a really great example to discuss this on, because it happened right in front of our eyes, back-to-back lessons. And the thing about ranges is they're always protected by something, and you have to do your job to look at, like we found that hourly time frame pretty quick, and that onset the entire thing. So we know once this hourly trend breaks, not only does it give us accuracy as to where to attach the candle to, but it also tells you once that breaks, it's protecting the range. This is where it's going. So we've narrowed down what time frame is needed, and we've narrowed down where it's going to go off of the range trend, which is onset by the larger range moving from the hourly time frame before the highest peak of the range prior. So it's all very easy to engineer that part. And then what you get in between that range, because you do have two ranges here, right? Like you have your micro ranges inside, and then you have your larger ranges that are being attacked. And we don't need to go over that again, but what we do need to go over is how these levels protected this, and it becomes levels that protect ranges, right? And how do you find those levels that protect these ranges? Because this was just a micro range, and you really find them by understanding where the range trend is. There's always going to be, and a trend is a level and a level is a level. They're all the same. Everything is a level on your chart. They're data points that once they break, they communicate X. So there's no need to set different rules around because it's a trend, because it's a level. It's all the same. There's a trend, it breaks, it's a level, it's going to what it protects. And very much the same thing here with a level. And this, I'm just going to move this inwards a bit just so I can highlight the actual levels themselves. And this is where we have that exact level range that's protecting the entire thing from breaking its bigger move. So you have to break that assumption that this trend is going to act different than this level. It's simply that this trend protects the range up there, just like this level is protecting here, is protecting that range up there. And then when you just break it down, levels are protecting ranges. There's no distinction between this trend protects it because a trend breaks and it has a bigger move, or this level has to hold and this level equals X. The only thing it does is it just spider webs things down, right? So yeah, the distinction between something different is going to happen from a level versus a trend, it should be completely false. It's the same thing as if we were to go into a higher time frame here, and now look at this 4-hour level. Is it not protecting the entirety of the range from back prior to get to these upper 52K marks? Because this level is protecting the range as well. Just like this was protecting the smaller range, this level is protecting this range from holding. So it's really interesting here because you've got almost the same thing happening back to back. You've got a level that protects the entirety of the range here, and you've got a level that protects the entirety of the range here. And then this is obviously a larger range, right? So like when this level breaks, it's a larger range up there that you go into. And then when this level breaks, it's a larger range up in here that you go into. So like if you were to just zoom out, you can see the levels and trends are all the same, right? The one one thing protects the other. And then really it's identical when you break it down like that. And then so you just go back to here and you find you can easily find the levels that protect the upper ranges, and this level is protecting the trend, and this trend is protecting the range above. And so when you can find those levels that protect the ranges, and you do it by engineering the ranges from the past. Like if you were to go back and just look at how we did all of this, and just kind of clean up our chart here a little bit, zoom out a bit. In order to get to this range, like we did this before already, but in order to get to this range, you have to break that, or yeah, in order to break this range or get to this range, you have to break that trend. And then in order to get to that range or trend, you have to break the micro trend. And then in order to get to that larger piece, you have to break the current trend. And that hourly time frame gives us all that information. So we're going to go and we're going to look at these 15-minute levels. So we already know that the level that's going to protect the range is the hourly level, because it's in a Pandora's box. It's in a mirror. You have the hourly on top, you have the hourly on bottom. It's going to give you the time frames if you just simply move them down in time. So if you go down to a 15-minute time frame and start seeing exactly what happened, like, reverse level versus reverse level, you can see what needs to break in order to break the move. 15-minute breaks on either side here, it's going to break the hourly information on the bottom side. So whether it's a level holding it up, whether it's a trend, it doesn't matter. And then it becomes simply just a game of understanding what time frame it is, and then finding the level underneath it that's going to hold it, right? And you could be now in a situation where you have reverse levels being hit, and if it's a situation where reverse levels are being hit, one of the reverse levels has to break. You could alternatively be in a situation where you hit a 15 on this side, you hit a 15 on this side, a 5-minute holds it down here, a 5-minute will hold it down here, a 3-minute here, from here it goes to a 3-minute here. To a 1-minute, and then maybe something breaks, and then maybe it goes and ladders that 5 minutes to say, okay, you're holding a 5-minute the second time, let's go hold that 5-minute a second time here. But really that wasn't the case. It was already, and that was if you were creating ladders with time frames moving up against each other. That already wasn't the case, because you had a reverse level being hit over and over and over. And then on the bottom side, the same thing has to happen. The reverse level has to hit over and over and over. So you've already got your levels that protect the range just by understanding how to engineer the time frames from above or below. And it's pretty, how much percentage is here? Let's try to measure this here. 76% in the small candle, right? And it moves down, and you can see the time frames being held. The hourly was held here, just like the hourly was targeted here. The hourly's targeted here. 15-minute levels are still protecting the range. So this should be very easy to see. Like when a 15-minute is going to break, you're either just going to hard close above it to break the level. So you're either just going to hard close it above it, break the level, expose the range, or you're going to start creating some type of ladder against each other, right? So like all you would now do is exactly what we started this lesson doing, just saying like, here's your 15-minute here. And if you were to go on the bottom side, if it hits that, it's got to hit this, right? And so you would either hard close or have some type of ladder hold the move, right? And then so that's fine. And hard close is there. Oh, hit the reverse again. So we can expect it to go to the reverse. So we can just delete this, and we're going to sit here and say, well, it hit the reverse. It's got to bounce this reverse next, right? So let's see what happens. It actually never gets to the reverse. So it's telling you that the trade is breaking. It's telling you that the range up top is breaking, because the level range, or the level that protects the range, levels are ranges, ranges are levels, whichever way you want to say it. The data point is telling you this has hit and held against the reverse level. So now you're starting to create that ladder against polarity, right? So this is stuff we've gone over before, and it's like, oh, look, there's a 15-minute level. It hit again and held. You should have been entering this trade here, because you are being shown that the range is breaking. Go here. I'm going to zoom in. I don't trust my eyes. No, that's nothing there. Let's just keep going here. Maybe the move already breaks at this point. Yeah. And it's, you get your 15-minute level here, you get your 15-minute level here, entries, and even in a case in point where you were saying you hit the 15-minute level here, okay, we didn't reach this one. Oh no, I missed my trade. We got held up by the hold level. Okay, the second this holds it up, the range is breaking. You just enter the next 15-minute trail, and it should be so transparent at this point that you don't even get a chance to re-enter, right? Yeah, backside of a 15-minute reverse that was polarity for the second part of the range. Like it's not even like this trade should have been entered so much prior, like so much earlier than this. But when you see that hourly is dictating everything, and you can see where the level range is, the level that protects the range, and it's all ranges inside of ranges inside of ranges inside of ranges with time frames. And at the end of the day, it's the levels and data points. You can take everything else out of your vocabulary and just say at the end of the day, it's levels and data points with logic flow. So when you get that, then you get these big moves like this, where it's just so simple and straightforward to see. And this, to be quite frank with everybody here, this happens almost religiously in the charts, where you have these level ranges like this that just hit and hold against each other, and then they just go and attack their next range in the move. And like, it's, I said it in the last lesson, right before the end of the lesson, and I'm going to say it again. It's almost comical how straightforward things can be sometimes if you can just, going back to the very core of what I've taught from day one, work from the highest time frame down, left side of the chart to the right, constantly logic flowing data points with a simple set of rules that fit in a box. And it's like, it's incredible. Like, that's why I say it's comical, the amount of accuracy you can have and how impeccable it can be.